Grand Rise. Live Rise. How you doing today? How you feeling? I'm NAGA. Nice to meet you. Share this upload and any of my uploads. If you checking out my videos or whatever, make sure you go through the list. There's some interesting shit down there. I got a bunch of videos. They go back pretty far too. You can see my transitions. But I've been doing this shit for a minute. You know what I'm saying? I had a whole nother page that I lost, and I was dropping crazy jewels on there. It got so crazy on there where people started flagging some of my shit. One of my videos went up to like 20,000 views in like a day or two. You know what I'm saying? By the shit I was dropping, that shit was crazy, yo. But then that page was getting attacked. People ain't want to see me rise. It was just, I guess it was too early on. About 6 years ago, I was doing it. Anyway, enough of the nostalgic shit. All right, so meditation. That's what we're going to talk about today. This morning. This rise. Because I ain't morning shit, right? But this rise, we're going to talk about meditation. I actually did me a meditation. That's why I'm still looking kind of like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, I actually feel good at like super, super peaceful right now because I just did a meditation. And when you meditate, you know what I mean? What do you do when you meditate? What do most people do? Like, do you know how to meditate? Do you know the purpose, you know what I mean, of meditation? And do you know the mechanics of it? If you do, that's great. You know what I'm saying? If you don't, I'm here to explain to you the best form of meditation for people who can feel my vibe. You know what I'm saying? You can feel my vibe. There you go. Whatever that means for you. You know what I mean? But check it. You're meditating, right? You wanna still yourself. You wanna get real still. You know, you wanna find a space where you can just sit still for a minute. And ultimately, if you want to close your eyes, it works that way. I don't suggest you sit with your eyes open because you can't really get that focus you want. You can do it like later in the meditation if you get nice with it, but right now the basics is important. All right, so you're sitting still. You know, it's good to keep your spine straight too, because from your base of your bottom chakra, the lower chakra, that's below, or the space in between your anal and your anal and your genital. That's that space in between your rectum and your genital. So your bottom chakra starts right there. That's the low chakra. Now when you sit straight, you line that up like this. That's the physical attribute of meditation. You know what I'm saying? You can be all like this and all that if you want or whatever, but the conductivity is not going to be the same. And it may take longer depending on how well you know how to do it. I'm giving you basics right now. This is basics. All right, so bear with me, vibe with me, tap in, showing you meditation right now. You see, I'm trying to hold your hand. So, as most people say, people make the spiritual shit complicated. You know what I mean? So, I ain't going to do that. I'm just going to bring it to you. Now, after, you know, you sit straight. Most people like to sit Indian style. If you're sitting in a chair, that's fine. I like to ground my feet. I like my feet to be flat on the floor. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm doing it outside, I imagine that my feet are roots. And one foot is busting down into the earth and it's wrapping around the core, and the other foot is busting down in the earth and it's wrapping around some positive, and then the negative energy is coming out of this leg, and the positive energy is coming up this leg. Like, I actually imagine myself doing that shit. I imagine myself pulling, like pushing the negative down and pulling up the positive, like in a meditation. And I sit like that. Now, while I'm doing that, ultimately inside my head, thoughts are going to come up. You're going to have thoughts. You're going to think about normal shit, people you know. You're going to see people who are talking about you at the moment. You're going to see all that because it's signals. It's all signals, and you're apt to pick it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can pick that shit up. So when you sitting still, it gets louder. It's like you can hear all the signals that's focused on your vibration at one time. They just start coming. This is the meditation. It does that. You will simultaneously call these your thoughts. You were saying, nah, I had mad thoughts going on. No, that is not your thoughts. That's energy you're picking up. You're a radio receptor. You're an energy receptor. Just like cars can pick up the radio from 9.5 or whatever, you're picking up radio signals from each other. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes when we focus hard enough, we can project thoughts out of our minds to other people. Or if a person is not trying to project thoughts, the thoughts that they're speaking of a vibration, a string attached to an individual, you can pick it up because it's your string. Tight. Tight. Just like that. So that's the first level. So when you start picking up these thoughts, that's because you're going in the right direction at that moment. But knowing that you're in that attribute and you're starting to pick up these thoughts silently to yourself, not in a word spoken, but in your heart, tell your body to quiet. Tell yourself inside yourself to remove the thoughts, silence the thoughts. And if it's hard, that's because there's a lot going on. There's a lot out there in the world hitting you. Bang, 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 bang. So just keep saying it until it dwindles down. You'll start seeing it feed out. All the things, all the thoughts, they'll feed out like they're just being erased. It ain't going nowhere. They'll just feed out. Boom. Then you come to this space where you start seeing pulses. You'll see like, it'll be like a wave. It'll pass your eyes. And it'll be like, you won't hear nothing out of womb. I just do that in retrospect of how it, you know what I'm saying, how I see it when my eyes is closed. So it just goes. That's your aura field. When you get past all the energy bombarding you, your aura field gets to come out. Your core energy starts to irradiate. You start to see that. Now you in a good place. And that place is where training begins. When you're in that place and you see the waves pulsing, boom, boom, that's when you can speak intention into the etheric river of life and all things. Start with yourself. Don't try to reach too far in the ocean and pull a big fish in yet. Don't do that, because you're going to get yourself hurt. You can't hold that pole yet. You know what I'm saying? What you want to do is you want to dive inside of you. You want to start working on your body. Try a little, like this is some fly shit. I remember I was doing it and I was in Georgia, right? And it was cold in my crib. The heat wasn't working and shit. I just got to this new spot, whatever. Freezing in the crib, you know? So I'm sitting on the edge of my bed. I got the projector on the wall and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like it was cold as shit. You know what I'm saying? So I meditated. I started meditating and I got to that point. And then I started telling into the waves. That was into the water. I was speaking into the waves. I was like, warm yourself up. I command you. You are the commander and ruler of this ship. I command you to warm up. My legs started getting hot. It's freezing in this. It came from the inner body. There's no heat outside of me. My legs started getting warm. I'm like, whoa. Started feeling a little sweat under my arms. I had to touch it to make sure the water was real. I'm like, yo, all right. So I did this a few different times. You know what I'm saying? Different meditations that allow you to dive deep. And you can go inside yourself. And when you truly, sincerely go inside yourself, you go through something inside yourself. And when you really do it, you come out yourself outside. Mind blowing. It's like, it was crazy. Like, first time I went in, I went in and it's like I'm looking in windows inside my body. I can see my bloodstream through little windows or whatever. And then I'm like, yo, what's that under me? So I wanted to dive deeper. So I meditated more and I'm going deeper. And I come to this place that looked like the Parthenon. Like Greek and like the pillars and all that, like they all over the place. But ain't nothing but my ancestors just outside chilling. My nana, my grandpops, my grandmoms, all of them, like people that passed away, they out there chilling, drinking, laughing, and joking. Like, yo, what you doing over here? Where you come from? You out here. Oh, we know what you doing. They laughing. Like, look at him. He think he grown. He doing this thing right now. They like, look at him. All right, you gotta go in there. I'm like, in where? Like in there. It's a puddle. It's a puddle, probably like 2 feet wide. But as I'm looking at this puddle, it started getting bigger. It was just a puddle you can slap water in. When I first looked at it, as I'm looking at it, it started getting bigger. And I looked back and I saw my grandfather, and he was like, go in there. So I stepped in the puddle. I'm like, how am I going there? And then I fell through the water, and it was like dumb deep. It was deep. It was like just deep, and I'm in the top part, still looking at the hole, and I'm like, so then I just dive, and I keep going all the way down. I go all the way down till the water changed to like an atmosphere, and it's like I was in space, and then I was coming down to Earth, and then I was the sun shining on my house where I was, and the crazy part was I was literally looking at my house. And then as I'm looking out of my house, it was cold outside. I told the sun to heat up. I was like, I want you to be beautiful today and nice and hot. I can use that. And it got warm in my crib on the outside. And I was able to look up in my crib and see myself above my house. You could say that right there is a reach, right? But in my meditations, that's what I saw. I saw myself above the house. In a complete circle, like through myself, outside of myself, like in here, I came out above me. All right, I ain't gonna hold y'all, but that's my meditation story and the basics on how to meditate. We're gonna get more into this, you know what I'm saying? Because we're going kind of deep, but you can ask into the etheric river what you want to do. That's just my story to tell you how I did that. And the first experience I was getting, the more you work on that and you start doing it, you can fix things in your body. Like you'll feel little pains taking place. Tell that pain and that thought to go away. Tell them you the God of this body. You command this body. You command this body to balance. Command you first. Control you and everything about you. And watch everything around you fall in suit. You already know the vibes, man. It's NAGA. Respect.